So people are asking me, are we going into a crash? The answer is yes. I've been getting a ton of messages from all you guys where it says this on your banking apps. The Federal Reserve is on the fritz. Payments are delayed. Then we have this message from the banking system itself. It says all US banks are actually under a cyber attack right now because of Iran, but that could be a red herring. I mean, let's not forget, we're $40 trillion in debt. We're kicking the can down the road since 1913. There's no getting out of this unless we crash the system and replace it with a new one. Now, what does this mean? We're going from SWIFT, which is an old 50-plus-year-old system, to ISO 222, which is the new standard for all banks to communicate with each other with ISO tokens. I mean, this is why Trump has his own DeFi platform, you guys, decentralized finance, because he's setting up the new system. Now, if he's doing it, why wouldn't you? This is a classic case of show the problem, give the solution scenario, because why else would the federal chair, Jerome Powell, be under criminal investigation? That's because they want to end the Fed. And yes, it's a double-edged sword. Yes, taxes is a fraud. Fractional reserve banking is a fraud. The entire system since 1913 has been a fraud. I mean, is it a coincidence that the CEO of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, just gave a warning to the entire banking system? And yes, this is the same bank that paid almost $300 million to the Epstein victims. I don't know. Here's a thought. Maybe they're using the Epstein files to crash the system. I mean, if you looked at the stock market today, $1 trillion was just wiped out. I mean, it is pretty interesting that since the Epstein files dropped, we've seen a number of CEOs actually step down from their positions. You guys, even Microsoft lost over $300 billion in market cap, and Bill Gates is not even part of the company. So the question is, what is the solution? So I know you guys didn't learn this in school. They set you up like that because they didn't want you to play the game. They want you to be a player in the game. And I show you guys all this stuff in my Break the Matrix community. So make sure you guys.
Shalom, Kol Halal YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM YAHWASHI, BAHASHAM QADASH. That's giving all praise to the Most High, in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to our teachers, the elders, and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us His truth and sincerity. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect scattered abroad. Shalom to 144,000. Real quick, all right. The banks are about to crash, okay? It says the Federal Reserve is experiencing issues with certain transactions. We are closely monitoring the situation. And basically, this happened the other day, okay? This happened the other day where basically the banks froze, all right? Which shows you that there's going to be, you know, a, this is going to be, this is what's coming. All right, people saying it's fake, people saying, you know, whatever, but we understand, scriptures, we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. We understand that they're going to do this. All right, their plan is to crash the banks, and they got the perfect excuse now to say Iran did it, okay, with this war with Iran, and say it was a cyber attack. Remember what Klaus Schwab said, prepare for many cyber attacks, okay, something along those lines. All right, let's go over here, though, real quick.
Iran is very capable of doing it. Iranians will go undersea where those fiber optic cables are in the Strait of Hormuz and the Red Sea that power 37% of the internet. I believe that they would cut those cables, and Iran's fully capable of doing that, and they're fully capable. The Houthis did this back in 2024, and it was just overnight. But
now they said the Houthis did it, but you know, we know America did it. They with the, you know, the cables, and you know, we'll look at the Nord Stream pipeline. America did that. Okay. So basically, we're going to come into a situation where they're going to say a cyber attack, and they're going to shut this system down. Your banking, you know, probably the electricity, and definitely the internet. We're coming into a time where all this shit is going to get shut down. All right, this is what happens in war times. You got particular countries that's in the middle of war right now, and they have no internet. Okay, they have no electricity, they have no power. All right, so expect this to happen very soon, and it's our job to give you these warnings to tell you what's coming.
Iran is very capable of doing this. And they're very capable of keeping those cables cut for weeks, if not months on end, okay?
Right. And so is the U.S. very capable of doing it. Let's go over here real quick. I've typed in, was there a recent cyber attack on the banks because of Iran? It says, as of early March 2026, U.S. banks and financial firms are on high alert for increased cyber attacks linked to reprisals from the escalating conflict with Iran. So they're telling you how they're on high alert. Okay, targeted infrastructure. Financial services remain a top target for DDoS attacks. with concerns that Iran could increase attacks against Western entities, including banks, and as retaliation, right? They're talking about going for the oil, which, you know, you got these sleeper cells. I got to go into that soon too. They got these sleeper cells, so they're already, you know, painting a picture for this Black Swan event, okay, claiming that, you know, Iran, which, and that's why I've been saying too, a lot of this news coming out, even about the Iranian leader, people are saying he's dead, people are saying he's not dead. It's a bunch of propaganda. These are the rumors of war, so we don't know exactly what's going on over there. You're getting a bunch of different, you know, narratives, but through the spirit, we understand what prophecy is going, you know, what prophecy is saying is going to happen, and we know that America is about to suffer greatly behind this war, man. All right, experts warn of potential cyber attacks from Iran, so they're already, you know, painting that picture to blame Iran for these cyber attacks that's coming, right? These sleeper cells, you had a look like a black ass nigga that, you know,
for weeks, if not.
did an attack, and he had a sweater on that said property of Iran, or Allah or whatever. So, you know, they definitely painting the picture. But let's grab a few precepts, because this means their money is about to fail. Okay, the money is about to fail. The banks are about to collapse, and it's, you know, it's gonna be bad. All right. Let's see. It says, multiple people have sent me this warning about the Federal Reserve. I will start to move money out of the banking system like now. And I believe when this happened, I actually went to the bank that day. Okay, I was trying to deposit money, and none of the ATMs are working. So there is some truth to all this. All right. I was, you know, brothers being to the trading thing, which he mentioned about, you know, how Trump is you know, going into the cryptos and whatnot, which it won't hurt to go into that stuff, going to the trading, because the whole system is about to change, and if you're not changing with it, you're going to be kicked out of the system. All right, now until they can bring out the MOTB, we're going to have to use the system to a certain degree. So brothers, you know, get into the trading, get into the stocks, and, you know, investing money, because the money that we use now, this physical cash money, is going to be no longer legal tender. So why it is, you need to use that money and turn it into something else, these digital currencies. Brothers, you know, investing in the XRP, brothers investing in, you know, these different things to make your money last longer, to make your money go further. Okay. But I was, the other day, I was actually in the middle of, you know, trying to put in a trade, and it seemed like the markets had froze. I couldn't even put in a trade. The markets had froze, man. So something is definitely going on, and we're paying attention. Look at this. This was this evening. ACH processing delays, which is, that's how you get paid. Some deposits and payments may not be updated yet due to an external processing delay. Balances will refresh as soon as processing is complete. Right. So it's going to come a day where the banks are going to fail. Okay. You're not going to get your paycheck. All hell is going to break loose. All right. Let's go right here. Let me grab this first. It says, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7. Salakia, not Wisdom of Solomon. Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 12. Okay. It says, for wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. So this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding we have is a defense. But at the same time, money is a defense too. So the people that don't have this wisdom, they depend on their money to defend them. You know, it's why people buy security and whatnot. That's as rich and famous, they have to buy security. But what happens when there is no more money? What happens when money has no more value? Then what do you do when they change this whole system and your money is not going to be a defense unto you anymore? Money defends you from, you know, well, obviously poverty, but homelessness, hunger, thirst. You know, you have to have money to do all these things. This is why we always bring out the MOTB, because you have to buy and sell in the system. And if you can't buy and sell, then you're going to be without. And that's what they're getting ready to change the system. It says, but the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Right. So this is why it's about this knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Scripture says, we shall be, the wisdom and knowledge shall keep us stable in these times. Lord, I can grab that real quick. Verse 12, this is just going to be a quick hit. It says, in the AMP, for wisdom is a protection, even as money is a protection. So money is a certain protection, man. Having money, you know, if you got money, it is a certain level of protection with money. But what happens when that money fail? Okay, there is no more protection. It says, but the excellent advantage of knowledge is that wisdom shields and preserves the lives of its possessors, right? So this wisdom is going to be ultimately the protection in these last days, because once the money fails, then that's it. And the only thing that you won't have is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And if you don't have it, you're through. Okay. It says, consider the work of the Most High, who can make straight what he has bent. You see? So the Lord had already set it up for this kingdom to go down. Okay? It was already set up to fail. Let's go over here. It says Genesis chapter 47, chapter 47, verse 13. It says, and there was no bread in all the land of Egypt, for the famine was very sore. And this is what's coming to America, modern day Egypt. So that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of famine. Famine is going to come. Okay, you had in the Great Depression, people were stacking bricks of money in the streets because it had no value. Okay, the value of the money went down. You saw the example of that in Venezuela. People was, the dumpsters were filled with, their money because it had no value. You needed wheelbarrows to go buy something. It says, verse 15, and when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And this is what's going to happen again. The money is going to fail in the system. And guess what? The people are going to go to the government like they did with the YAB and demand a solution. Okay? Just like they did with the YAB. Go watch that movie, that show, what was it called? Damn, it's on the tip of my tongue, man. With Jessica Rabbit. It doesn't matter, man. If you know what I'm talking about, you can put it in the comment board. But it was a show, prior to the demic that came out, showing how the people was going to beg for a YAB, and that's what happened. And they showed you in the show how the YAB was basically sterilizing people, whatever. That's besides the point. But they're going to do this. That's going to happen again with this MOTB. Okay? People are going to be begging for a solution, and that's going to be the solution they're going to give you. Okay? It says, and Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fails. So, your resources, whatever you have. This is why they say you will own nothing and be happy. You will have to give up everything in order to, eat, in order to try to live. And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for their cattle for that year. So, yeah, which cattle and stuff like that is like, that's wealth, So think about it here. People are going to have to, as money fails, hyperinflation kicks in, people are going to have to sell their shit. Your car, you ain't gonna be able to make them payments on that expensive ass car no more. You're not gonna be able to, people selling their houses. My neighbor just sold their house. I'm like, what the hell are they selling their house for? They just sold their house. Okay, it's on the market. So you have people that's going to start liquidating everything that they have in order to, try to stretch it further. But ultimately, it's all going to fail. Okay, let's go over here real quick. City of confusion. All right, which is symbolic for America. This is a great city of confusion. Okay, but it's being broken down. It says, because this is what's happening right now, man. It says, Isaiah chapter 24 and verse, all this is good. I just want to get to the point though. It says, verse 5, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And who's ruling the earth right now? These wicked rulers. They are defiling the earth, right? It says, let me get up out of here. It says, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. This is what it's all coming down to, man. People are about to suffer. Okay? It says, the new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. Everybody ain't happy no more. Everybody ain't rejoicing as much as they used to no more. Salakia for the noise. Alright? But the people are sighing. Alright? Scripture says, when the wicked bear through, the people mourn. But when the righteous bear through, the people rejoice. So people ain't, rejoicing right now. They're sighing. They're crying. They're feeling the pain. They're catching hell. Gas prices going up. Alright? The mirth of tabrets ceaseth. The noise of them that rejoice endeth. The joy of the harp ceaseth. Anybody ain't playing music like they used to. Having a good time. The clubs are shutting down. Hey, where we camp at, it was like a little bar or club or whatever out there. That shit shut down, bro. Okay? It's shut down, man. So the Lord is shutting this place down. It says, they shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Right? You remember in the movie they show you how when somebody has a wound, okay, and they have to drink the liquor, to try to prepare themselves to pretty much, I forgot the word, I believe it's quarters, you know, basically to stop the bleeding, they have to, like, you know, heat up a knife and burn it, and, you know, brand themselves to stop the bleeding. But what they'll do is they'll drink, you know, they'll pour alcohol on it to disinfect it. They'll drink some of the alcohol to make them a little numb, you know, so they ain't gonna be drinking to have a good time. They're gonna be drinking, you know, because of the hell on the earth, bro. This is what's coming. And this is what we're telling you and warning you about, you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Indians, because when this time comes, you're going to be left out there to suffer, to die, to starve, to catch hell. And if you don't have your BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, you ain't got nothing. It says the city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. All these businesses shutting down, okay? There's no jobs out here, all right? This is what's coming to America. It says there is a crying for wine in the streets, which is what? That wine is symbolic for answers. People gonna want to know what's happening, what's going on. Why am I starving? Why are my kids, you know, starving? Okay? It says there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. And you got Jake still playing games, still thinking it's sweet, but the mirth of the land is gone, man. Which mirth goes into joy, happiness. All that's coming to an end. Okay, there's a time for everything in the earth, and right now is a time of pain, suffering, okay, crying, you know, that type of stuff. It says, let me read a little bit of this in AMP. It says, let's go back to verse 5 actually. It's a lucky for the noise again. I'm at the plantation. So it says, the earth also is polluted by its inhabitants. And who's the one that's doing this? Esau. He's the one that's in power. He's the one that got the power to, you know, have oil spills in the ocean. Have oil spills in the ocean. You know, he's the one that has the power to do all these things. Not us. Okay? So the inhabitants of the land. It says, because they have transgressed laws, violated statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant. Yeah. Yeah. Gracias.
Appreciate it, Papa.
No problem. You know? So, the whole world is out of whack right now. Salakia. That's the plantation. The whole world is out of whack right now, but the Lord is about to put things back in its order. It says, therefore, a curse devours the earth, and those who live on it suffer the punishment of their guilt. Buenos dias. Scared the shit out of me. Yeah, you good. Just put that up there. Thank you. It says, therefore, hold on. It says, therefore a curse devours the earth, and those who live on it suffer the punishment of their guilt. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned under the curse of the Most High's wrath, and few people are left. Reading on, it says, the vine decays, all the merry-hearted sigh and groan. Right? People are sighing and groaning. Okay, all on TikTok crying about how they can't afford to live, they can't afford to feed their kids. It's only going to get worse, bro. Okay? What happens when you have money and your money can't help you? Your money can't do nothing for you. People gonna lose their shit. As the saying goes, when people have nothing to lose, they lose it, man. It says, the mirth of the tambourines ceaseth. The noise of those who rejoice ends. The joy of the harp ceaseth. They do not drink wine with a song. Strong drink is bitter to those who drink it. The city of chaos is broken down. And that's what's happening, man. This place is getting broken down. All right? The Lord is shutting this place down. He's through with America. America has fulfilled its purpose. Okay? So we're seeing these things play out on the earth. We're watching, we're paying attention, okay, and we're praying the Lord speed these things up and get us out of here. It says there is an outcry in the streets concerning the wine. Yeah, the answer, people want to know what's going on. People going to be in the streets protesting. You're going to have riots. You know, they showed you that in that show I was talking about, with Jessica Rabbit. I forgot what it was called, man. Tip of my tongue. I know one of you brothers going to know. You're going to put it in there for me, but damn, I can't think of the name of that show right now. Oh, but, in that show, people was basically protesting. They were saying, we need a V. So there was it was like a virus or whatever. We need a V. We need a V. So people gonna be out there complaining when they find out that their money is not working anymore. When they find out their money is not working anymore, that their money can't save them anymore. Okay? Because they say more money, more problems. Imagine you have all the money and still have more problems. It says, horrible desolation is left in the city, and the gate is battered into ruin, for it will be in the midst of the earth among the people. That's the point. Alright, so basically this place is shutting down. The Lord is through with America, and eventually life as we know it is about to change drastically, man. Alright, life as we know it is about to change drastically. You're not going to be able to go to your job soon. You're not going to be able to buy and sell as you've been buying soon. They're getting ready to change this whole system up. Alright, the money is about to change, man. Alright, and that's what this is all about. The whole war with Iran. Let me say this too. It's about getting all those resources and tokenizing them. You got this guy Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, okay, the head of BlackRock. He's getting ready to make an announcement on the 11th, okay, and they saying a lot of these cryptocurrencies and whatnot are about to skyrocket because they're getting ready to tokenize everything. So that's just why they're going, with Iran and Venezuela and shit, because they want to take anybody who's not on their reserve system. Because you can't have a federal, or a blockchain system when you still got other nations that still, dealing with gold and stuff like that. So they want to change all that and tokenize everything so they have more control over everything. All right. So basically that means what? They're getting ready to change this system, bro. All right. Now elders and apostles been screaming out on the rooftops for the longest, and we have entered into their labors doing the same thing. They're getting ready to change the fucking system. As soon as Jake start getting some money, what they do? They move the goalposts. Okay. They move the goalposts. So, hey, you Jakes better wake up, snap out of it, repent, get right with Yahawah, because it's only about to get worse. Shalom, come and show our love,